A moment of silence. You can be seated. All right, first thing on the agenda is awarding the bids for the Station 3 projects. We have 4 contracts go out, and you'll be awarding the 4 bids tonight. The first is for general construction, and that goes to Diamond and Field Construction. The second is for the HVAC, and that goes to CNS companies. The third is for the electrical, and that goes to NAP Electric. And the last is for the plumbing contract, and that goes to Burns Brothers. VIP, our construction management company, is taking care of notifying the individual contractors. All right, minutes of last month's meeting. Any additions or corrections? Then I will make a motion to accept the, Casey is here. Sorry. I will make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for last month. Sorry, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any questions on the treasurer's report? Then I will make a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any questions on the December bills to pay?
You have anything? Oh, he's looking.
I'll give them a second to.
I'm good.
Okay, then I will make a motion to pay vouchers 1 through 35 for a total of $243,192.05. It's a little higher in December because we had 2 larger bills. The one being the USDA loan payment of $90,000 for Baldwin Station 1 and 2. And then the second is the $50,000 for the code 4 for the 2 sets of battery operated jaws of life that we just obtained, which we will then turn into the state to get refunded partially from the grant. Tony?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Becky? Is there a second?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'll second.
Okay, now we'll do it.
Very good.
Tony,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Casey.
Yes.
Communications. I did receive one communication, and I think I'm going to do it now rather than wait. We received a letter from Ryan Derby requesting a 6-month leave of absence starting, actually I started Thanksgiving, so 29th of November. If he is able to come back sooner than 6 months, he will let us know. I think at least 6 months, because he's had some family circumstances change and he needs to. I'm assuming this was given already to the licensing board, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they approved it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So theirs is, you're allowed to do 6 months for licensing
Yeah.
at a time?
Mhm.
It's just a
It's
notification.
just kind of notification, we don't have to specifically act on it. We just have to have it in the meeting minutes that we have. So that was communication. Administration, all of the employee reviews have been done. Dates for the meetings and workshops next year in 2020, do we want to continue doing the second and fourth Tuesday of the month? It would basically work out like this.
Yeah, it's fine for me.
Okay. We'll keep it Tuesdays and Thursdays then. Megan, I'm assuming you already, like, none of these run into holiday specifically.
I didn't really, I didn't look, I didn't see anything,
Okay.
nothing was
Just-
like on.
Nothing glaring, okay.
Just a workshop in December.
Yeah, that's 22nd, so that's probably 3 days away
And Christmas.
for Christmas. It's up to you guys if you want to cancel it.
Okay, well, we can think about that. We can just maybe move it up a week or. Yeah.
You want me to leave it in there for now?
Leave it in for now. We'll. The 2020 organizational meeting is going to be January 14th. I know the question comes up, it's already come up. The organizational meeting is when any newly elected chief officer would be approved by the Board of Commissioners, and that is when they would take the role of that position once they are approved by the board. So the current chiefs will remain in their positions until that time. That is only for the chiefs. That does not have anything to do with the company line officers. It's just the chief position, and it's any chief position. And lastly, the workplace violence policy. Has everyone had a chance to look it over?
Yes.
Any questions or problems with it?
I don't have it with me tonight, but
Then I am going to make a motion that we adopt the workplace violence policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And maybe you can have the when you get the opportunity, just add it in with the other changes and then add it. Thank you. That is it for administration. Financials. Jack, do you have anything for financial?
no, not really, other than we gotta just move forward with the bonds and that for the new station. That's about it. We don't have any information on that until we get the information to Jeff.
Okay. Truck maintenance, Tony?
Yep, I brought up last meeting, I wanted to put new tires on the tanker. We needed the state bid number. The number is 7583 is the state bid number. If I may do so, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and pull the trigger on that. 3476.28. 3476.28 for tires. It's a motion.
Do I have a second?
Question?
Yep.
Back when I was in sales for fire service, state bid wasn't always the cheapest way. Do we always have to go state bid?
Nope.
No, you don't.
Just easier?
This is what I did in this case.
Okay.
They do right now, they're doing all the tires for JPB, they're doing them for Jerome, they're doing them, you know, the resources that, for lack of better terms, made it simple.
No, we use them at work as well. It just, I know we went through this a while back on some department stuff.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So do I have a
Oh,
second?
I'm sorry, I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Also, under RTP 723, I had the snowmobile trailer repaired. They put all new diamond plate around the bottom. They did some structural work, so we're good to go. That work was completed. I had that submitted at the last meeting, but that's done. Warner's Corners engine is back. I didn't know if that fell under me or Chief Perkins, but that was returned. I don't know. I'll talk to the chief after.
Anything else for maintenance?
One last thing, all the stuff that we had approved for ladder 2, that work, Chief, will be performed on the 17th, which is next week. It's probably going to be a 2 to 4 day repair because they're putting new cables and a couple other things. But that's already been approved, but I just wanted you guys to know that's when it's going. That's it.
Jeff, do you have anything on your building and grounds?
Getting the sprinkler stuff together, talking with Mark Walker, he suggests we do specs on that, so everybody's doing the same thing.
Okay.
So he's willing to help us with that,
Okay.
so he's gonna get that together first part of next week and get, other than that,
Nothing? All right, so there is just a request that was actually, Wayne received a request from one of the captains. It's at one of the stations asking for new shovels. They sent him the shovel that they wanted. They're like $85 a piece.
I'll make a motion to drop it. They have
Second.
perfectly good shovels, they have a snow blower, they have a salt spreader,
Second.
they need to use what they have.
wide, they're huge.
There's nothing wrong with the shovels.
Okay.
Have to make an extra pass.
Probably use a fold-up truck if they want to make that big of a scoop.
Yep, there would be that
I
too.
saw that.
Something to keep
Yeah.
using stores on here.
I gotta touch it.
Keep out
I was over there the other day.
Like stores lost its place.
Oh, I don't know, I don't do that.
These tables push nice enough.
Yeah.
Just say,
All right.
want to make that weather.
So Wayne is being very kind and sitting out in the other room at our request to verify addresses for the commissioner vote, so he left his items with me. Yeah, we don't have anything new, they're all the same from the workshop. It's RTP. Why does that not match? 1715 for the 2 salt spreaders for Beeville Station 1 and Lysander Station 1 for a total of $110. There is RTP 1716 for the 50 batteries for the portable radios for a total of $3,700. There is the request for 24, I don't know if it's packed or actually 24, AA Energizer batteries for the SCBA annual inspections for a total of $194.40. And then RTP 1719, which is 2 fog lights, squad 3.
It's just replacements.
8215. That's it. Any questions that I probably can't answer?
No, we talked about it the last meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve RTP 1715, 1716, 1718, 1719 at a tune of $4,086.55.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now, I don't have the RTP, but it was a previous RTP, 1580 for the hose bed cover for engine 7. Originally quoted in 18 for $475, new price is $550, it went up $75, so it just needs to be reapproved.
I'll make a motion to reapprove 1580 for $550 for the home pick.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And then the RTPs from the chief, from the workshop. Again, if anything has changed in here, I'm going to request for a change. 1697 is for 2 Ezekiel multi-brackets and 8-cylinder brackets for $144. There's RTP 1699 to Jerome's for the 4 MSA Altier 4X gas meters to replace the existing meters that are having failure problems at a total of $3,180. And RTP 1700, which is to purchase the current Rhino MDT that we have had on trial for 90 days. I actually would like to amend this RTP to purchase 2, so that we have one to place in the new chief's vehicle. And then that would make that a total of, I don't have one. Yeah. I think that is fine. And that can't be.
11696?
I'm gonna go with hers.
That's for the 2 of
I
them.
think we did it 3 times.
Because she had this listed in it.
Oh, okay. All right.
11696 is just for the 2 Rhino tabs.
Yes.
Then you gotta add in the.
Yes. Let's see, were you taking that from, oh, I see you're adding the
I
whole
was taking
thing
it
out.
from the minutes.
Oh, gotcha.
You were just doing the one on TV.
I got you. So you correct my thing right there, sorry. 15,
15898.40.
Yep, that's what I got.
She said,
all right.
So then it is
Sorry.
15898.
All right, so the total for all of those RTPs would now be $15,898.40. Sorry, that was my bad.
Probably wouldn't hurt to do a roll call, but
It would if we had a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve RTP 1697, 1699, 1700, which was amended, for a total of $15,898.40.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And then do a roll.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Jack?
Yeah.
Casey?
Yes.
Security and computers.
I don't have anything.
I got that ITS contract.
It's okay.
I did talk to him, I called him to verify everything. The reason they want it done by the 20th of December is because when you get the upgrade, if the upgrade isn't in there after the 20th and you buy the new equipment, you gotta buy the new license. What they're saying is if you put the upgrade in the system now, they'll honor the licenses we have. And he said if you have to buy new licenses, he said that's gonna get costly. So he said, and you probably have to put in a new phone system because without this upgrade, software upgrade, it's just, the system just won't work.
Jack, I can't remember, is this something we're gonna be doing about every 5 years, you guess?
He doesn't seem to think so. He said they haven't had an upgrade like this in a long time.
Okay.
How old's our phone now? What we have?
5 years.
5 or 6 years, yeah. We paid it off last year, so this is the 6th year.
Do we have an RTP number on this?
I did not write an RT, I thought I did, but I can't find it. so.
This one?
So we got one?
Oh, it was? No, it was already. Oh, all right.
It was in the bill,
Oh, I got you.
because it was talked about at the workshop,
I don't remember voting on it. I know we talked about it.
but just talked about it, so everybody, you know,
It's just one
It's already paid, so.
We already would pay on it.
minute. Okay. All right.
If you don't have an RTP, I'll get one made.
Safety report.
Yes, good evening. I'd like to report no injuries since the last commissioners meeting. It was another good demonstration of our commitment to safety here. To kind of give you the picture of what that looks like, I'll be providing a roll-up that talks about our experience and the experience of the rest of the country. Usually there's pretty good things in there we can extract and apply. Pest training starts January 1st. It'll be all loaded into the system by McNeil on January 1 at 0001. Hope nobody misses out on our party if they want to get on it first thing. Again, just one take back, or one give back is the speed reading issue we've had. If you're seen speeding through and not completing contact, you'll have to redo it. That's the standard we've established in the last 3 years. It's worked out fairly well this last year anyway, so hopefully keep moving forward. Annual maintenance for SCBA stands between the 13th and the 15th of January. We need drivers, a couple people who can operate a screwdriver, and battery changes, and just come on down, we'll put anybody to work that wants to participate. Last thing that I've got is the breathing air compressor containment. The order's been placed. I checked yesterday, they don't have a delivery date as of yet. The manager for Bauer is going to try to expedite that order for us, so that we're not waiting 8 to 10 weeks, which was the original time frame. So we should be getting that hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully not during the week of the SCBA annuals too. That'll make things difficult. We'll manage that. Speaking of managed, I think the fire ground and training has been managed very well. Looking at the fire calls we've had and observing the training we've had, we're setting a standard here that others should be proud of. You all should be proud of, and others should be looking at. So we'll continue that right into 2020. Any questions for me?
Bill, you just make sure your speed reading gets mentioned in your email that originally goes out to
Yes.
both organizations about.
I'm actually the business meeting as well.
Okay.
Manager meeting.
I just want to make sure that they understand that if they try and short circuit it, they're going to be asked to redo it. So there aren't any surprises.
I'll make sure it's covered in the venues that I've got.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for me? If not, in a report. Thank you. Have a safe remainder of the year.
Thank you. Chief Perkins?
I just have one RTP here. They got the bill before I hardly got the card to, they have the chief's card to the day of our Great Light. I got as far as the police station and it died right there. And I had to have the doubles tie it, tow it to Davidson Ford to let the burn out alternator, which was under warranty. So I got an RTP. I don't know what the amount is. Joanne's already got the bill.
Yeah, we already
It's
approved
in the
it.
bills.
Did you approve it? Okay.
Yeah. But we did talk about about going back to Ford to see if we might be able to get that tow expense reimbursed.
Oh.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the individuals in the department, and they had mentioned they used to work at Ford, and when they worked there, if the equipment was under warranty, we kind of have it towed because they don't do the towing service, they would reimburse the tow. I don't know if that's still the case, but I think it's worth a phone call to them to find out if they would reimburse us for that.
Yeah, that would be good, because it was news to me that they didn't have a tow service. So I explained everything to them. They said,
Most of your big
"Now you gotta
garages,
get here."
most of your big garages don't have tow services, car dealerships anymore.
Huh. Well, so we learned something.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking of it, I bet you Ford does have a number in the book. While it's under warranty, it says, never dawned on me when I told you to just get the thing towed. I bet you Ford's got a number in there, call this number, it's kind of like, I know
It's a
Chrysler
roadside
does.
assistance.
Yes, thank you, that's the term. But I never told you that because it never even dawned on me. But remember that going forward.
So that's all I have in the
Chief, I have something for you. I want to thank you on behalf of the residents of the Northwest Fire District for the 5 years of being our district chief. We definitely know it wasn't all gravy. There was definitely some challenges along the way, but it's much appreciated, and not for nothing, I got to mention 50 years of service, second bound as fire chief. It's a big deal, and anywhere you can go throughout the state, that name is recognized. So much appreciate everything you do, and hopefully you'll still be with us.
Yep, I just have to say thank you. I took on this job to bring us kicking and screaming into the 21st century, and I certainly was kicking and screaming all the way through. I had mixed emotions because as I leave, there were a lot of goals that I had set up here for myself and for the district, and I don't really feel I fulfilled those. Basically, I spent probably 3 of the 5 years putting out brush fires constantly. So I hope the next guy has the cooperation of the board and the 2 fire companies in the district. We gotta get through to people, this is one district. It's not individual fire departments anymore, can't be. If you wanna survive in today's society, you gotta knock off the ship, basically, and start playing on the sandbox together. I wanted to go out on a nice note, so I guess I better shut up.
Thanks again.
Yes, thank you. You beat me to it, Tony.
Sorry.
That's fine. We do not have any new members, we do not have any resignations, and we do not have any status changes. Old business, the only thing listed on the agenda is the Station 3 update. As for the previous, you can see that we were able to go out to bid. The bids came back, they were within budget for Station 3. We did award the bids tonight. Fingers crossed, construction will start in early January. Barring any complications, we do have one more meeting with the planning board on the 17th of December that we need to attend, and once that is done, hopefully we will have the ability to get the building permit pulled and start construction. And like I said, hopefully it'll be done late summer, a little bit sooner than we thought. Originally we were under the impression it might take an entire year, but it looks like it'll be a shortened time period. So I think everyone here on the board is extremely happy to see this kind of coming to fruition and moving forward again. I did send out an email to all the members today. And just a side note with the Station 1, since the Station 3 project is going to take all of the funds that were approved by the taxpayers, this board has made a commitment that we will put a certain dollar amount aside into the building fund over the next 4 years so that we can do the Station 1 addition, and maybe a little bit sooner if there's some money that might be left over from Station 3 if we don't spend it all. Put that towards it as well so that we can get that addition to Station 1 done too.
Becky, can I chime in?
Yep.
On that Station 3 note, for the taxpayers and the firemen, that station, when we're done, we're going to hand the keys over to the chiefs and say, go to work. It's going to be completed from the paint to the light fixtures to the furniture to the radio. We're not doing a phase 2. It's going to be turnkey. That was one of the things that, quite honestly, I think it needed, we were challenged with budget. So the way we went to bid was, general construction, and then, for example, a room here and a room there. Well, unfortunately, case history was phase 2 never comes. So we were able to get the complete project completed under budget, turnkey. That's what's happening. And hopefully we'll be able to hand that key right to the chief and say, send your guys to work. That's the deal. Sorry.
That was the only old business that I had, unless somebody has anything else they want to bring up. All right, so new business, CNY Industrial Medical Services. Chief Rosique and I met with this service mid-November to see what they had to offer as far as medicals. They can do the same service for us that we currently have. One of the nice things that they have the ability to do is a little bit of flexibility where they actually have office hours. So they have, they're in Brewerton, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if someone is unable to make any of the physicals that we do on Monday nights, they can go there and make an appointment and have their physical done at their place. There is no cost to the member, just like there wouldn't be if Jan were to do it. So I would like to make a motion to add CNY Industrial Medical Services as a medical provider for the Northwest Fire District.
Second.
I want discussion though.
Okay.
Just for clarification, I think we need some input from safety officer. Just for clarifications, are you looking to add this as a backup to Jan? Is that what we're doing right now, or are we looking to replace?
We're adding her as a medical provider in addition to.
The only thing that I'm reluctant on, to be honest, and I kind of changed my tune since you and I talked, I think a little while ago. I don't want to play the two doctors against each other. So, for an example, if I go in for my physical and Dr. A says, you have an ailment, whatever it is. Well, I don't like what Dr. A says, so I'm going to go to our Dr. B.
No, you can't, you have to go to your doctor and get clearance.
Okay, all right.
Well, we ran into an issue with that, and still, A would not clear.
So we're going to make, so jumping ahead to 2020, in January, I'm going to make some changes to the policy. Well, I would like to make some changes to the policy so that that does not happen going forward. I just didn't have it ready and prepared for tonight. I
Understand.
figured January workshop would be,
Okay.
could be an opportunity for us to kind of go through that and talk about and how we want to word it.
Does it make sense to either have him speak now or wait till the January workshop? I mean, if we don't have all of our ducks in a row. I want to hear what Bill Hopper has to say on the physical thing.
I have nothing to say about it right now. I think based on the discussions here, you're going on the right track. And if we look at January's, the date of the workshop, maybe I'll make changes and take everything right there and do it. I understand what you were saying, and it is a good concern. You don't want to have A going to B because A says one thing and B says say another. That doesn't sound like that's going to happen. We're going to have controls in place.
And quite frankly, we're not going to pay for two physicals.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm a little passionate about this one is I've been through, quite on, and I'll say it, go to Jan, she's been doing my physical for 1986. Long story short, I like what she does, but I also know that we ran into some curveballs. So if you're adding this, I will second her if you've already had the second. I'm good with that as a backup for now. I'm good with that. Actually, I thought we were doing something different, so this is fine with me.
Okay.
Yep.
So, should we wait for Casey to come back?
Yeah, we can. The thing that I like about it is when you have a situation where somebody misses their physical because they got stuck at work or something, they don't have to wait a month to get a physical or try to find her in Tully or wherever it is. They can go there.
Which total makes sense to me, but I just want to make sure that we've done our due diligence, and I don't know if it has or has, as we sat her down in front of the board and said, hey, we've got to change the way we're doing things, and maybe she would say, I can't accommodate that, or we can accommodate, or she can, but that's more to be followed, right?
Correct.
TBA, that's where, yeah, we're good. Yep.
Okay. So, all in favor of adding the standalone industrial medical as an additional service?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Any other new business?
Yes, I have two topics. One was, under the trucks, I just want to approve the striping for the new Tahoe. Somehow I missed it, but I got a cost of $1,050 to the same guy that does the striping for the trucks that I've been doing. Does great work. Very similar to the Fords that we lettered up. So again,
Now, is that the
$1,050.
lettering too, or is it just the stripe on it?
No, the only thing that does not cover is the big patch, because we get it from a secondary
Yep.
source. Okay?
What was the total on that again?
$1,050 to brush mark signs. The guy's name's Mark Dunham, that's who we use.
So you're making a motion?
Yes, please.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
All right, now I have a couple items that I want to share with the public. And quite honestly, the timing had to be very careful. As you know, the fire district's been kind of the center of attention on social media lately. And I want to cover a couple topics, but I didn't want to hurt or help with the elections of the incoming or outgoing or current commissioners. I didn't want anything to do with that, because it's not about elections and individuals, it's about us, our team. Me as an individual, as anybody that knows the McIntyre name, knows that I've been a Ballsville fireman for about 35 years, and I'm very proud of that. The reason that I've done that and have lived my life in the fire service is I love our community. Just like 99% of the firemen that do that. But 4 years ago, I was elected to this Board of Fire Commissioner as a representative of the Northwest Fire District to represent the taxpayers in the 52 square miles. What I am not, as a Board of Fire Commissioner, is I'm not a representative of the Baldwinsville Fire Department. I am not a representative of the Lysander Fire Department. I am a representative of the taxpayers of the Northwest Fire District. The reason why I clarify that, because we hear so much, oh, the board needs to be equal, the board needs to be equal. Well, if you go to Belgium Cold Springs Fire District, they don't have a representative from Radisson, River Road, or just shy of the village. You go to Plainville, you don't have a representative from certain communities. They're the district commissioners. Now, with that being said, when I vote as an individual, I'm not speaking for my other 4 constituents, I vote for the betterment of the fire district. I consider a Lysander fireman as valuable as a Baldwinsville fireman and vice versa. And quite frankly, I take very much as an insult when it's thought differently. Now, if the public doesn't know or does know, how come the firemen sit on this board? That's a fair question, but most doesn't know that 95% of fire districts in the state of New York, their commissioners are made up of either past firemen, wives of firemen, family of firemen. Usually there's a vested interest, and the reason being is, quite honestly, the taxpayers typically don't want to get involved with this. That's a fact. So I'm grateful, for example, Jack Klein spoke up and stepped up for the last 25 years. I'm grateful because most residents in this side are not, and vice versa for Baldwinsville. So that's why we're here. I'm a fireman, I'm an active fireman, I still ride trucks. That doesn't make me a bad commissioner, that makes me care. That's, and let me be very clear, we are the Northwest Fire District, and I'm proud of that. Another topic that is near and dear to my heart. Part of the leadership's responsibilities and roles is to utilize our assets in resources. So with that being said, the chief's office has to decide where and what equipment makes sense within the district. So at some point, for an example, the heated topic in this area is the Lysander tanker and why it was moved. I want to be very clear. It wasn't moved to discipline anybody. It was a resource that the chief's office felt very passionate that it made sense and would benefit the entire district. Now, with that being said, there's going to be other movement. That's their jobs as chiefs. For an example, we have a truck called Ladder, or Truck 3. It's a big 100-foot aerial. That will be moved to a different part of the district. Tools are getting moved. In 2 years, it's going to be moved again. That's their job. It's not to discipline anybody. It's to take our resources and make sure that they're utilized to the best of the ability. I can tell you that we can't buy 6 tankers, and we can't buy 6 set of tools, and we can't buy 6 trucks. We're doing what we can. And it's important that people understand that their job will be to evaluate where we are next year. I'm not saying, you know what, they might need an aerial truck out here when the new development gets built across the street. I don't know. Do we hold our heads in the sand and say, hey, you can't do that, that's a change? No, it's not about discipline. It's about being proactive and utilizing our resources. Lastly, for those of the people that have some issues out of our 15,000 citizens that are concerned about things being wrong with the fire district, I would ask you, A, to come to a meeting, and B, consider filling out an application and helping us. help the Lysander Fire Department, help the Baldwinsville Fire Department. Spend less time on the computer, just give us a hand. Whether you can drive, whether you can be a fire police, you know, whether you can help sweep the floor, just give us a hand. Be part of the solution and not the problem. We need help. I mean, most of the taxpayers want to dial 911 and make sure the trucks are coming, and they are. That's my new business. Again, I didn't want to do that via social media because I didn't want to create an issue for the gentleman running for the commissioner's position. That's my opinion on everything. So thank you for this soapbox.
Any other new business? All right, station usage, Lysander Station 1, Sunday, March 1st for a party.
2020. It's supposed to be
Oh,
2020.
2020.
But so used to, so used to
It's
2019.
still going on. And then Baldwinsville Station 1 on Saturday, December 14th for the VFD Family Christmas Gathering. Any comments from the public?
I just have one thing that I forgot for usage. There's a possibility, we got an invitation to go to Honeyway Falls for a parade of lights, kind of reciprocate. We'd only be taking a squad if we go, but we aren't gonna know until like tomorrow night whether or not we're gonna go. So probably put some lights on the squads.
Do you have the date?
Pardon?
The date? Is it tomorrow
It would be
or
Saturday.
this coming Saturday?
The 14th.
14th? Okay.
That just came up last night, so
Okay.
you know how those things go. We might develop or might not.
Who is it for?
Honeyway Falls?
Honeyway Falls, which is the next exit after Geneva on the third.
I believe they come to the ones in the village, you know, kind of one hand wash the other.
Okay.
Just be sure to catch the Parade of Lights on PAC-B. It's not only on TV, but we also have a YouTube channel for those who don't know. So I filmed it, or at least I filmed the part where the trucks were coming down, so just wanted to give you the plug.
Thank you.
Okay. I do have a concern, and you kind of helped me actually.
Oh,
With that thing you
what's
just,
your name, sir?
what you just said. And that's also do your disservice too.
Thank you.
And you too, Mr. Parker. My name is Chuck Parker. I've always been in the Lysander Fire Department.
Fantastic.
Grew up on East Mud Lake Road, moved to Lansing, to Plainville, to Cotterville. My mom still lives here. I got sisters that live here. My concern is, it's really getting to be a concern. You talk about public, relations.
Yes, sir.
And one of them was, and I used to be in the fire department back in the 80s, 3 years, took some courses in Baldwinsville. Actually, you guys helped me with a motorcycle actually a couple of years ago. But anyway, my concern is, our commissioners in the past here for this district always took care of us, giving us the best equipment
Sure.
and tools that we needed, okay? A lot of us feel it was almost like a slap in the face that the tanker did leave our firehouse. We really did. We're a rural area. You come out here around August, September, October, water's very precious. I mean, a lot of these creeks that you see overflowing aren't. So it's nice to know you got a tanker to back up your engines. And that's my main concern. I am in the old school. I don't want to see trucks being pulled out like a pick and pull. I heard this tanker went to is it Downer Street?
Yeah, I went to Baldwinsville Station 3.
Okay. My concern is if we're all one, like Mr. Perkins says, we all gotta be one, and I agree. I'll be honest with you, when the merger happened a few years back, I wasn't in favor. There was a change, but you kinda helped that today, as far as explaining that. But if you needed a tanker there, why could you guys look into buying one and having one there? Why take it from and I'm gonna say us as far as our rural area here, why take it from us? I don't, it's not fair. I don't feel it's fair. You can talk about manpower, but I did some research on that, okay? And I heard it's only been a couple times, and a couple times out of a lot of calls isn't really that bad because you do have mutual aid. Okay? So right now, our closest tanker is Plainville.
Okay.
For this area. One other thing. I look at my local fire department, I look at it like my fire insurance on my house. Okay, I have 2 homes. And I look at it like, I'm glad I have it, I'm glad I got the best of the best, but I hope I never have to use it. So pulling this, and I've asked a couple of people in my area, what, did you hear they took the tanker? And I found that out after setting up for benefit here. And I just asked them, fellow firemen, you know, how's things going? And they weren't sarcastic or nothing, just, you know, our tanker's gone. Tanker's gone, the lysander? Well water here, because we want no hydrants other than a couple ponds.
Sure.
And I really feel like past chiefs, past commissioners, my fellow district taxpayers, it was a slap in the face.
Sure.
I'll be honest with you.
All right, so
I'd like to see it come back.
understood. First of all, I appreciate the fact that you're coming and talking and getting the answers. That's the first thing. We wish that there was more of you guys that had questions that would come.
You might have it.
We encourage that. So the answer is the reason why your tanker got moved, so we can ensure that 99.99% of the time it's going to get to you. Right now, on your truck floor, sir, that truck has 2,000 gallons of water, and that would be first due to your fire, God forbid, in this area that you were referencing not wanting to use it. So I know when you do the timing, you take the mileage from, I don't know, House 8 right around the corner, from Plainville to there. There's not a huge difference in mileage, but I can tell you there's a huge difference in response because of how quick Baldwinsville Station 1 is. Now, like I said when I spoke before you talked, when unfortunately the manpower affects what we're doing. That's what dictated all of this, 100%. It was not that anybody was bad or it is just the way the manpower reads, sir. And this will be reevaluated at every single time. We could put 3 tankers and 6 engines in any given station. If there's not the manpower to roll the equipment, it's a moot point. That's why we moved it. Because I can assure you 99.999% of the time, that truck will get here as quicker than when it was sitting at Lysander Station 2. That's why it was moved. And again, I'm hoping, I have my fingers crossed, sir, that we're going to get an inrush of manpower here. And I can tell you that if you need a tanker or an engine or another squad, you will get it. And it'll be moved from one place to the other. We don't feel the need, and I can't speak for the chief's office, of 2 tankers here. We don't feel that the need, but I can assure you that if you do the times and the mileage, you as you have some history, so you get some of this stuff, what you're saying, sir. But the average taxpayer is not going to see a difference from the time that it rolls to get to their house. That's ultimately, and again, we have guys on the Baldwinsville, or I would call the south side of the river. When we shifted a ladder truck out of Baldwinsville Station 2 and moved it to 1, and there was many people that had that same impression that you had, sir. And as times changed and situations changed, the truck's back over to that station. And you know, that's, again, we don't always agree, but man, it's appreciative that you're at our meeting and you're willing to talk. That's the best that I can explain to you right now, sir.
So there's no chance of us getting a tanker back in this area?
Well, I'll tell you what, fill out an application and we're one step closer.
Sounds good. We actually got 2 board members that are joining.
That would be awesome. manpower and circumstances dictate change. It does. We will be looking at this
Well, how
right
many
along.
times has the tanker sat here? Jack, do you know, during calls? Where nobody had a driver for?
It's not missed a call.
Yes, it has, Tom.
Okay.
40 minutes into a fire on Lamson Road, in the middle of your district, the tanker should not be sitting 40 minutes.
Do you want to get into the discussion why?
You're
Because
bringing
the
it up.
firefighter was at that end, could not respond in a piece of apparatus without fire gear on. Had to come to this firehouse, get his gear, to go up there to get a tanker. That's why.
Sir, there's your answer. We are always willing to talk, sir. Always willing to talk. We look forward to working with you.
Okay. Is there any way, what you told me, you can get out to the public? 'Cause-
Hey, bring them right in, please.
Well, I understand that.
Huh.
But it was just it was a big concern. I've asked a while.
That
68.
the reason why I said what I said, because quite honestly, I knew there was only gonna be one or two or three of the taxpayers here. The stuff that I was talking about was to that camera, because there was a person on social media that referenced, just watch the TV. Well, I just gave them some stuff to talk about, because those were the facts. We're not bad people. We're just utilizing our resources, because we can't go buy a new fire truck every single time. You can't do that. That's why I spoke the way I did, sir.
I understand that. It's just, it's tough.
I understand.
It's tough.
You
You know, we talk
respect
to
that.
people around here, and that's how it is. Life said will also take. And it's a blow. It's a slap in the face. As far as, you know, we've always had one. You mentioned, you know, if we ever get a development across the road, is that what we gotta have? I mean, nobody else.
We need people,
Nobody
sir.
else cares?
You get us people, we're gonna move equipment. We gotta haul these people.
And then one other question about moving equipment around, like you were saying, that you're.
Yes, sir.
Same thing there. Isn't that gonna be tough on the fire, the chiefs and the firemen, not knowing if they have a truck the following week?
No, it doesn't happen that way. That's not, that all of
That's how you
us.
explain it, that's what I was.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be just randomly bouncing trucks around. The tanker, because when we move something, and chief, jump in here at any time, when we move something, that affects box alarms. That affects lots of things, so it's thought out. It's thought out. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction. Quite honestly, what happens, sir, is the chief's office will say, hey, you know, I've got this hazard in our district, or I've got this issue, and I need this type of equipment. Squads, or you know, the question is, do we replace a big heavy rescue with a squad? It has to do with evaluation of the hazards, whether or not we buy a ladder truck, an engine, you know, another tanker. Listen, I don't think it's gonna get any worse as far as rural water out here. If anything, I would hope someday it's gonna get better with water supply. But that's our job. It's, you know, we just purchased $50,000 worth of tools that the state got for us. And the reality is, does it make sense to put tools? Does it make sense to spend $30,000 worth of tools questioning whether or not they get out or get utilized? Where do you put them? And that's what their jobs is okay, where's the strengths of our manpower? Where are our weaknesses? Not who's bad or who's good. It's everything from everything. For example, we have our snowmobile, the district snowmobile is located out here. Okay, that's where it makes sense right now. If manpower gets better, we might need 2. We might need 3. We might need an ATV. Man, what we do, sir, is changing every single day. And part of our job is, unfortunately, to evaluate what we need, why we need it, and make the changes, and if we gotta add. At some point, we're gonna have to buy new squads. The one in Baldwinsville, the box is falling off the back. But I have one in this side of the district. Does it say, hey, does this roll? How many times does it roll here? We gotta look at all of that. Or does it make sense to go out and spend $70,000 on a new one? I don't know. That's kind of all goes into it. Unfortunately, it's not popular, but that's part of the job. And honestly, the more input from, you know, the chief officers of Lysander Company have input. They have input. We don't always agree, but they have input. if they come to us and say, hey, we need X, Y, Z because of, and it's justified, it's gonna happen, sir.
Okay.
There's no, I can't speak for the fourth, there is nothing stopping that other than organization and communication. That's it, sir.
Well, I appreciate you explaining it.
I appreciate you coming.
There's 4 other people. Can I just ask it individually? Do you understand what I'm saying as far as my fellow people here? And what's your input on it? He put his. I'd like to hear each and every one if I could, while we're on TV.
It's a manpower issue. It's where is the manpower to move the assets, like Tony had said. If you don't have, you can have all the resources in the world, but if you don't have the manpower to operate them, they do no good sitting in a station. So it's where do you have the resources to move the equipment and make sure the entire district is covered to the best of your ability? That's my spot.
And I will say that I rely probably more heavily on the chief's input than some of the others because I'm not a firefighter. I've never been a firefighter. So I kind of rely heavily on what the chief's input is, and if that's what he feels is best for the district, and that's what he does. He's done it for 50 years. If he's telling me this is the best place for it, and these are the reasons why, I'm agreeable with that.
Sure. I'm gonna abstain. I'm sorry, Chuck. I don't want to get into a big discussion here of why things happen, because some of the comments I've just heard, working together, the truck was moved, Lysander people didn't even know it till the next day, and it was moved, the day it was moved is when the chiefs here were told. Whether it needed moving or not, I can't say. But,
You, sir?
I gotta be honest with you, sir, it's, as everyone said, there is a major manpower issue out here. And if you're putting all 4, 5, 6 members on the engine to go, that other piece isn't getting out. You know, Baldwinsville does have an access of quite a few more members. They can fill quite a few pieces and get out the door. Within a matter of minutes, that tanker would be here. Hopefully, we never need it, but it would be here in a timely fashion compared to, honestly, some other neighbors as well. We have to use what's we have in front of us, and manpower is in Baldwinsville right now. Would I like to see it back here? Yes. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, I would like to see the tanker back here, but you gotta have people to move that vehicle.
If it is just a 1-day notice, like Jack said, that's been unfair so far. If they don't know.
You know, I'm not gonna, I don't know yes or no on the answer to that, but I do know our chiefs, including the Lysander chief that was involved, they have chief meetings monthly. And I cannot, in my own mind, think that it was a 1-day notice, truthfully. Because these people, they talk all the time. And they, you know.
Thank you for giving me the time, I appreciate it.
No, appreciate it. Much appreciated.
I got a few things. This is for Tom. Where do we stand with trying to get people to work a little bit better, work detail wise? Do we open that up to the Lysander members yet? Are we asking them, you know, are we trying to leave a spot open and at least offering them a chance to, you know, get put onto that truck, or, you know, the work details like the fireworks, the football games? Are we making that step to try to make them start mingling? Is that process been started?
That notice goes out on email constantly.
So everybody in Lysander is getting that email?
The ones that have been registered with the, your chiefs are all on it, and your officers are all on it.
So if they're not posting it, then it's their own problem.
Right.
Also, I have a concern, what's the truck outside, sitting outside at Station 2 up there at Lysander? Why do we have a pickup truck sitting outside?
It's the pickup that is used by Wayne and Jeff for their day-to-day.
We don't have a bay that's in considered?
No,
there is now.
it's going to be back in Station 2 once the fire truck that is there is sold.
I could at least get parked on the stone so it's not sitting in the grass. It's not.
Well, it was put out of the way for the plowing purposes.
Gotcha. And I guess, where do we stand on trucks? I know we were having quite an issue with trucks, we had to borrow a few for a while. Where do we stand with that? Everything's taken back care of now, we're good with trucks where they need to be,
No,
engine wise?
not really. I mean, we've moved trucks around again. We sent the Warriors Corners truck back, and we put ladder 2 back at Station 2. That's the only firefighting vehicle that's there now. But we're still open to try to purchase another used vehicle to fill the gap that we now have. We're replacing, up at that station, we're gaining a ladder, but we're also losing 500 gallons of water because it only carries 500 gallons of water, so. It was a stopgap for right now, so we can come up with a better plan, or try to get another used piece in.
So I guess my next question that brings up then is, we purchased a brand new chief's vehicle. Why couldn't a used one be purchased and the extra money go towards a new truck? I mean, I was told before chief's cars don't put out fires, so, I mean, spending the extra money for a brand new chief's car kind of doesn't make sense to me.
All I can say is that it was brought up and it was in the plan, and the commissioner said we had the money to do it, so that's why we did it.
It's not I don't feel that it's necessarily extra money to find that used truck. We can't find one that is 100% suitable. You know, we're looking at ones that have either tons of miles on it, or it's 20 years old already. You know, you're trying to find that one that is a happy medium, with not so many miles, because you get, the ones we're looking at, mostly, they look like they're coming from the south, and they're over 20 years old. Yeah, they look great, they could last you whatever years, but it's just, you know, we've already had issues with 20-year-old vehicles. We're not looking for another 20-year-old.
Whatever we get has to go, I think you said 8 years, to fit into the replacement plan.
At least 8 years.
And then I only have one other thing, money got taken from the building fund to purchase, I believe it was the ladder truck or the new truck?
The truck 3 is back.
Is it back?
Yes.
Because I knew that was supposed to be coming back from one of the sales of the ladder truck, and we're keeping both of those now, right?
No.
No, you got
They're still up for
information wrong.
sale.
They're still for sale?
But ladder 2 is, well, they're both in service, but we decided to put ladder 2 back in service to fill the gap until we can come up with something.
That's all I got.
Any requests for executive session? No, okay. Next meeting will not be until the organizational meeting Tuesday, January 14th here in Lysander. We decided to not hold the December workshop because it is just Christmas Eve and nobody wanted to come. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 8:03. Thank you all for coming.